This is How's Your ePresence, and I am Mark Galvin, your host. This show is produced and sponsored by ePresence. We are a full-service social media agency. We manage company, individual, collegiate, consulting. Anything you need for social media is what we do at ePresence. And our website, don't always mention that, is epresence.me. That's epresence.me because it's all about you. This is our news update. This is our quick 10-minute broadcast where we highlight something in the news. And today, we're going to talk about Facebook. Maybe you guys have heard, maybe you haven't. I'd be surprised if you haven't. There's a big lawsuit that's been filed against Facebook. We're going to talk about that. Before we get there, hey guys, please subscribe to this show. If you subscribe, you get a notification over there. Hit that button down there, subscribe. Either follow our page on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, or make sure you're following our page on LinkedIn so you get notified when we're here. And if you have a question, you can join the conversation. We would love for you guys to join the conversation. Also, speaking of joining, join our webinar. We have a webinar that we host roughly twice a month. We always do it on Fridays, and so this is not a webinar day on this particular Friday, but we're always offering a way to help you clean up your LinkedIn profile. And then once a month on one of those Fridays, we have a secondary, if you will, LinkedIn 2.0 class. We help you do a lot more on LinkedIn other than just upgrading your profile. But here we are today in our news update. And as always, when we talk news, our director of social media joins us, Eric Welch. Eric, good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning, Mark. How you doing?
Good to see you, my friend. Well, there's something going on in the news, right? What's up?
Yeah, it's a slow news week in the world of social media. People are just winding down for the holidays.
Yeah, I tell you what, these days there's nothing in the news to talk about, is there? This on top of all the other stuff going on.
Yeah, so I believe it was on Wednesday, the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, and 46 different state attorney generals filed a lawsuit against Facebook, antitrust lawsuit, alleging that they are basically squashing their competition and snuffing out small startups and kind of bullying their way into the powerful company that they are. I think it's one interesting aspect of this. It's a bipartisan effort on the part of the states and the FTC. Letitia James is a Democrat from New York. She's kind of leading the effort on the state side, and along with the federal side as well. It's unusual for this many states to cooperate with federal, for everyone to kind of get their stuff together, put aside any personal differences, and go after something big like this. So it'll be in Facebook, I think, knew it was coming because they had a statement ready to go, and they are clearly going to fight this. So
absolutely, yeah, this is really an interesting thing, and the reason we wanted to talk about this is it's going to greatly impact social. And I would tell you, my feeling is I'm surprised that this has taken this long. You have got Facebook that is so powerful, and they can control. And I would tell you, there's so many things that they control that we don't even know about them. The whole API thing, which I think is extremely interesting. There's a quote.
Oh, Mark, lost Mark. Let me take him out of there. All right, so we can continue talking about this. Mark will be back. He has a new computer, and I think he just froze up on us. So here, let's go over a couple of notes about what's going on with this case. So basically, the FTC is alleging that Facebook bought WhatsApp and Instagram. It was anti-competitive. And even though the deals were previously approved, I think that's an interesting point here, is that these deals over the last few years, they had to be approved by the FTC when Facebook took over Instagram and WhatsApp. And at the time, I don't know, you kind of in a vacuum there. where they were approved without any. Oh, hold on, Mark's back.
I love when that happens.
I tried
So,
to filibuster as best
what
I
I miss?
I was talking about what was I talking about? Oh, how at one point the Instagram and WhatsApp purchases were approved.
Absolutely. And, and I do think, and what's really interesting about the FTC is I think deep down inside, they probably don't think they're going to win this case. Although when you have 46 state attorney generals jumping in on this, I don't know that the FTC had any option. I think they had to join in on this case. But I don't think it's going to be won. However, this is going to impact Facebook, and in fact, it's going to impact us because any type of advancements that Facebook was looking at making, and or maybe even acquiring other companies to make their service better, they're not going to do that. They're probably going to pause, and it could impact where Facebook goes in the future. So I do think that this is going to hurt Facebook in some way, maybe even hurt us with the options and the services that we are used to. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I was about to read the quote from the Wall Street Journal, and this is about the APIs thing. I'm going to try this again. If it cuts out, we know that there's other there's that YouTube doesn't want me to read this quote. No, I'm just kidding. A quote from the Wall Street Journal: the FTC officials allege Facebook encouraged developers to make games, e-marketing tools, and other apps by hooking into the platform through various APIs. The dynamic gave Facebook immense power over the app's development trajectories, competitive decision-making, and investment strategies. The lawsuit claims that Facebook eventually curtailed or even denied to such partners, which numbered in the millions, as they began to export user data to Facebook competitors or challenge Facebook for user engagement. See, I think this is extremely interesting, and that's the end of the quote. I think this is interesting because what they're saying is Facebook is not allowing these developers that use APIs to connect to their system to potentially develop a competing system to Facebook. Why is that interesting? Well, they're using Facebook's data to create a competing system. Why wouldn't Facebook block that, right? They should be, if you're going to compete with Facebook, go create your own system, but don't connect to Facebook. I'm not sure why that is a violation of it's anti-competitive. What do you think, Eric?
I don't know. That might be they're just trying to collect as many possible, I guess, call it evidence or examples of things they could use against Facebook. They know they're not going to win every single one of them, but if they have a little bit from here, a little bit from there, they can build up a pretty substantial case. Yeah,
to me, it's really interesting that they could be reaching here, but I do feel like where there's smoke, there's fire. We've had all the folks going in and out of DC and talking to various commissions about what's going on with all of these social media sites, and there's a worry, and I think the worry is real. They control so much data. They could keep us. They could sell our data. They are potentially have too much information on us, and there's a lot of worry on that. I don't know that we all understand everything negative that's going to happen with it, but there's a lot of information out there now, and I do encourage all of you to check out some of the documentaries and podcasts that are talking about what social media companies can do with your data and how it can harm you. You should certainly be aware of that, but I think as individuals, we have to be smart enough to say, no, I'm not going to share that data, and then don't share it. Don't allow Facebook to know where you are each and every day. For that matter, don't let Amazon know where you are each and every day. And on Amazon, I've got Amazon Alexas all over our house. In fact, it's probably listening to us now. You have to be aware that you're doing that, and if you need to, feel free to go hit the little button on your Amazon Alexa to keep it from listening to you. So, what it's worth, I think that we're in interesting times, all the way down to the cameras in our house and the way that all this technology can follow us. So, last thoughts, because we should wrap up. We need to wrap up in 15 minutes. Any other thoughts here, Eric, before we
No,
move on?
I think it's interesting. Facebook's initial argument or counter to this is saying that the government. This is an example. The government wanting to step in and kind of undo the past. Like I mentioned, they approved Instagram, they approved WhatsApp, and some other smaller development.
Right.
Those are the two big ones. They approved that. I would love to, and I do some research here and go back to when that happened to see what else was going on in that world that was approved, because at the time clearly they were okay with it, and it's like Facebook slowly picked up pieces here and there, and they turned into it's like they did something not in secret, but they did it in front of everybody, and they did it all the right legal ways. But now they want to go back and change that. And I think it's, on one hand, it is a valid argument from Facebook, because they did everything legally. They didn't do anything that they shouldn't have done as far as acquiring these other companies. But again, it's the government trying to step in and tinker with things that have already been approved.
So the counter to that I would see is that I don't know that the FTC really knew what they were doing when they approved these. They didn't necessarily understand the scope of these programs, and I think there is a little bit of, okay, let's figure this out. Here's something else that is very true. Technology moves so fast. These systems are changing so quickly. It's moving 10 times faster than the legal system can move. This lawsuit could take 2 years, could take 3 years. Imagine how much will change in that amount of time in the technology, even in Facebook. And I don't think the government can keep up with this. There are going to be, I would like to see the social media companies create some sort of self-governing alliance that is where they can have confidential information, confidential conversations that can help them self-govern themselves. I think they need to self-govern. There's got to be something there where they say, we need to make sure we're doing the right thing. I think echo chambers. I think here's a problem. I think an algorithm that on YouTube, for example, an algorithm where I pop in and I see a video on YouTube that's convincing, like totally making this up. I see a video and it says Eric Welch is the most horrible person in the world, and I watch this video and I think, okay, and then YouTube says, well, if you like this, you should watch this one, and I get another video that says Eric Welch is the most horrible person in the world. Well, next thing you know, I've got 10 of these videos that I'm watching, and maybe it takes an hour or 2 hours to watch all these. Am I going to be convinced that you're a pretty bad guy after watching 10 of those videos? Yeah, that's not healthy. I think that the algorithm needs to say, okay, well, here's the counter argument to Eric Welch to being a bad guy. This counter argument is he's a great guy. Let me tell you why. And it will activate our critical thinking. That's a real problem. We've got to make sure that we're not allowing people to be in echo chambers where they're not challenged, their thoughts not challenged. Because I will tell you, I do have a lot of friends that will come to me and they say, look, this is bad. Here's the truth. Check out this YouTube video. And it's some YouTuber that's making stuff up. That's not good. And I do think that there has to be some way of fixing that. I don't think they should be censored. I do think that YouTube ought to say, well, here's a counter argument. And that algorithm should do it naturally versus just serving the exact same content, reinforcing something that may or may not be true. But I think that the counter argument is worthwhile. But do it consistently.
Yeah.
Right? And do it to one person, do it to everybody.
I mean, that could be a whole nother show, is the bubbles.
Yes.
The bubbles that people live in, because I'm a huge fan of Twitter, and that's about as bubbly as you get, because because you pick who you want to follow, and and that's great, and you get to but because of that, the opinions you hear kind of
are only those opinions.
Yeah, and it supports whatever your own opinion is, and you don't get any outside opinions. But again, with that though, what people get opinions and facts mixed up a lot,
all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that we are headed to a point where when something is posted, everybody, this, for someone who has 50 followers or somebody has a gazillion followers, they can post an opinion and let the social media companies have a little link under saying, here's the opposite opinion.
Yeah.
And you can see both opinions. All right, my friend, we should wrap. This is good. Yep. We're going to watch this, folks. We'll be back with news updates as more comes out on the 46 state attorney generals and the FTC trying to break Facebook up. And hey, this has happened before. This happened with AT&T. We had Baby Bells and all of that stuff. You may remember that. You may not. But they did break up a monopoly before. And that's ultimately what we're talking about. Is Facebook a monopoly? Yes or no? Alrighty, sir. Any last thoughts, Eric?
No, I think we're good. Happy holidays,
Rock on.
everyone.
Oh, that's a good point. Yes, happy holidays. Well, let's do some little housekeeping here at the end, folks.
I'm going to get out.
We'll see you in a bit, Eric. All right. Some quick things is you find us on our website at ePresence.me. If you'd like more information about your social media, you need some help on social media, we can help you. Check us out, ePresence.me, because it's all about you. Join us for that training. You can see that ticker going across the bottom. Come in. We can help you make your LinkedIn profile fantastic to help you achieve your goals. Until next time, it's a wrap. I appreciate Eric Welch, our Director of Social Media. This is Mark Galvin. We'll talk to you soon.